The purpose of this Module 1 overview presentation is to provide a brief introduction to the ancient writers whose works we'll be looking at over the next 3 weeks. Our first writer is the iconic Homer, a figure who alludes to his own blindness and who otherwise we know very little about. Likely illiterate, he is believed to have lived in the ancient Greek world of the 8th century BCE, before Common Era, and is credited with versifying the episodes that were later transcribed and pieced together as the Homeric epics. The first is the Iliad, the account of the Argive siege on Troy, or the chronicle of the Trojan War. The second, the Odyssey, describes the laborious homeward journey of Odysseus at the war's end. Both are considered to convey some of the most basic and cherished values of Western civilization. Here are some additional facts and details about the Homeric epics. The Iliad depicts the conflict between the Mycenaeans and the Trojans. That conflict resulted from the kidnapping of Helen of Troy, the bride of King Menelaus, by the Trojan prince Paris. The Iliad features the memorable episode of the Trojan horse and highlights the conflict between the two great champions, Achilles and Hector. The Odyssey features the hero Odysseus venturing by sea through various pitfalls, including the Cyclops, Sirens, and Calypso episodes, before returning to his native Ithaca. Upon his return, he finds his estate overrun by unruly suitors who, believing in his death, are aggressively courting his wife Penelope. Clearly, things do not end well for these guys. Obviously, there's much more to both epics, and a review of Wikipedia and other resources will acquaint you more fully with the key elements and episodes in each narrative. With our second figure in Module 1, we encounter the Roman writer Publius Virgilius Maro, or Virgil, who we know a bit more about. He lived between the years 70 and 19 BCE, and later Christian writers scoured his works to locate clues about his proto-Christianity. Though a pagan, his works are thought to have anticipated and presaged the birth of Christ. A composer of 3 styles of poetry, bucolics, or pastorals, or eclogues, defined by their youthful vigor, georgics, or instructive guides, defined by their practicality, and epic, or foundational struggles, defined by their sober purposefulness, Virgil captures in these 3 styles the values of the rota, or the wheel, the Virgilian wheel, a symbol of the growth of the poet from a mindset that is joyous, youthful, and celebratory to one that is first practical and then later more mature, sober, subdued, and purposeful. The chief poetic voice of the imperial Augustan age, his Aeneid, continues and updates the story of the Homeric epics, conjoining the journey motif of the Odyssey with the battle motif of the Iliad in the Aeneid, the great epic of the Roman world. Virgil's main cameo came over 1200 years later when he was portrayed as the pilgrim Dante's guide through the underworld in the Divine Comedy. Our final figure in Module 1 is the Roman poet Publius Ovidius Naso, or Ovid, whose life between the years 43 BCE and 17 AD actually overlapped with both Virgil and that of Jesus Christ. Known primarily for his episodic tales of love and change, the Amoris, Ars Amatoria, and Metamorphoses, Ovid focused on themes aligned with thwarted love, the pursuit of romance, and the celebration of eroticism. Given the character of his work, which was considered to be as scandalous in Roman times as it might be regarded within our own, Ovid was banished from the empire, but he still remains considered, along with Virgil, as the most important poetic voices of the Augustan age, and an influential literary figure well into the Renaissance. Again, A quick web quest will put you into more information about this key figure from the ancient world. To conclude this brief overview, we will stress the significance of Homer, Virgil, and Ovid not only as influential figures in their own times and foundational to our own understanding of the most crucial values of Western civilization. We will also note their influence as storytellers, with motifs from the works of each continuing to engage and influence later artists, poets, and philosophers in the centuries going forward. I hope this introduction has been helpful and that you're now prepared for a closer look at each of these three figures from the ancient world.